My parents are in their 60s. And when your parents hit their 60s, just so you know, you kind of realize that you go, all right, I'm in charge of this family now, you know? They don't give it up. They don't offer it away. They just start doing stuff that you're like, you know. We went to the store the other day, and we walked back to the car. We were in the store for an hour. We walked back. The driver's side door is wide open. He drove, opened the door to go inside, and just kept walking. He's been driving for 50 years. And I know cars are getting crazy, but one thing that stayed all these 50 years is you got to open and shut that front door. My dad wore my mom's pants to a funeral. That was the day that I was like, look, we can't listen to this guy no more, you know? We got to go get him. He doesn't know what's happening. It usually starts happening when you start doing the holidays at your house instead of your parents' house. That's when it starts happening. And so my parents, once we did that, they downsized into a 2-bedroom townhome. So they still want to do Thanksgiving at their house, but they don't have the room for us. There's like 20 of us. It's like a college kid being like, you want to do Christmas in my dorm room? There's a table for 4, and then they have to put a train of TV trays and nightstands that just weaves down this hallway. I mean, you're sitting on stairs. We made the kids go eat in the car. We just go back and they can't even eat inside. My mom didn't have ketchup. I was like, everybody just has ketchup. It just comes in houses. If I went to some alcoholic's house, he would have ketchup. His whole family would be gone, but I would say, do you have ketchup? He'd be like, I'm not that gone, man. Look, in all seriousness, I don't know. No, look, the it's getting very advanced, all right? I've been to a dog bakery. I've been to a dog bakery in my life. And this wasn't in, Beverly Hills or like Miami or something. You feel like they would have something like that. And this was in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And if you don't know where Mount Juliet is, it's fine, but I bet you can tell that doesn't sound like a town you would drive through. I bet they have a pretty good dog bakery here. I went in there, and no one was in there. The lady was looking at me like, are you here to buy this store for me? That was her only hope. I talked to her. She had some time on her hand, excited to talk. And her and her husband bought the store for their 27-year-old daughter who graduated from college with a degree and came out of college and said, I want to own a dog bakery. I want to make cakes for dogs. If I asked my 6-year-old what she wants to do when she grows up, I think she'll tell me she wants to make cakes for dogs. And I'm going to tell her that she can do whatever she wants to do, hoping she doesn't turn 27 and go, let's talk about those cakes for those dogs. Maybe they're usually busy. Maybe I was on there on a slow dog birthday day. I don't know, all right? She told me everything was organic, and I was like, that's good. That's what I like to hear, all right? This is for that dog that's outside licking gum off the sidewalk right now. And if anybody deserves organic food in our house, this little girl, I'm not gonna waste it on her. It's for that dog that's wandered out on the highway because it doesn't know what cars are. But look, next time you guys go to Mount Juliet for vacation, let me tell you, look, do them a favor, go by there, all right? Swing through, buy some dog cakes. And I'll be honest with you, I'll be up front with you guys. I bought a dog bakery, it's not going that good, all right? We're almost done, so don't worry about it. And I think you can tell. I always think people they're like, he's talking about dog bakeries, he's about out of stuff. Yeah, where is this going? At all. I'm smart enough to answer my 6-year-old's questions. He's like, why is the sun hot? I'm like, 'cause it's on fire. It's a stupid question. And I tell her that, all right, because I know that she'll be smarter than me next year and then just for the rest of her life. So I am really sticking it to her while I can. I know nothing about like adult stuff that you're supposed to know about. Global warming, that's one that everybody yells at you about. And they're like, you better do something. I'm like, I'm so tired of it, let's do it. I'm like, I barely made it out of high school. I don't really know how rain works. So why don't you let me figure that out, and then I'll do global warming, you know? But I've seen it rain without clouds. Where's that water coming from? So I'm pretty swamped with this rain stuff right now, but once I get to the bottom of that, I'm gonna do global warming, and I've got some pretty good ideas, you know? Hey, we'll get it out tonight, don't worry. Here's what I'm doing for, you know, my daughter's future environment, is what I decided to do, they say we won't have water. So I put a bunch of buckets outside to collect water. And when she turns 18 and she's like, do I get money? Like, something a little better than money. Bet you've always wondered what those buckets were doing outside. Well, they're all yours. And that's for your kids and their kids. Everybody gets a bucket of water. Our marriage almost ended in one fell swoop. So I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. And in the 80s and 90s, kids were getting kidnapped pretty rapidly. And look, I'm not trying to say we were more desirable or something. I think we were outside more. A lot more opportunity, you know? It's a lot easier to get us into vans. Didn't take much. And so parents back then, they would watch TV, and I think it would scare the parents. You know, you realize now everything's a crime show. Everything that you watch is crime, podcasts are crime, movies are crime. You almost like see it so much. But back then, you only had so many channels. And then when they would watch these shows, they were very powerful shows. My parents used to watch a show called Rescue 911. And it would just show reenactments of crimes. It was powerful. I've seen 3 seconds of Rescue 911. I remember walking through the living room. My parents are watching it. I look at the TV. A guy has a ski mask on, and a woman is asleep with her feet out from under the covers, and he started rubbing her foot. That's all I saw. I don't know what happened before or after, but I know I've never been with my feet out from under the covers because I accidentally saw that 30 years ago. And my feet get so hot, and I want to put them out so bad. I mean, try it every night for 30 years, and then that image pops in my head, and I yank them right back under. I'll be in a hotel room, and I'm like, look, you can't get in here, dude. You've locked everything. And I'm like, that's exactly what he's been waiting for. He's probably already in here. So I will never go through that process to get my name. I was in San Francisco, and I bet there's a bunch of fun coffee places, and I live in my dumb world that I just want this one little drink. So I go into a Starbucks, and I get to the front, and I was like, I'll take an iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And then she goes, iced coffee with cream? I go, iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And she said it one more time. She said, so iced coffee with cream? And at that point, I should have said, what's going on right now? Where are you at in your head? Because I feel like we're in two different places. But I was nervous, and there was people behind me, and I was like, cream or no cream? Honestly, I'll give you $20 if you let me leave right now. I cannot, this is the most I can talk about this. I don't even know what's happening anymore. So I paid. I go stand in line, you know, where you gotta wait for your drink. There's like 5 of us waiting for our drinks. So she puts the iced coffee up there first, no cream, and I was like, whatever. I'll just do it myself, you know? Like, I don't like doing it myself, but I was like, all right, I'll just do it. So before I could get it, she's walked back with a can of whipped cream, and she's shaking it. And I'm just looking at it, like, thinking that's someone else's. I'm like, someone's getting whipped cream. That's fun. One of you guys are getting whipped cream? And I look down, and she starts spraying the whipped cream on top of my iced coffee. She just yells out, iced coffee, whipped cream, yells it out. The other 4 people turn their back, like they don't want you to accidentally think that's what they ordered. And I'm just left alone, like, that's what you thought I said over there? You don't think I would have said iced coffee with whipped cream? You think I'm just some nut job? It's like, I've had too many problems in this Starbucks, so I'm only going to use the words that I want and no other words. Iced coffee, whipped cream cup. And they didn't have a top for it. So whipped cream, it doesn't sink and become less embarrassing. It moves. It's like a buoy in an ocean that everybody sees. I'm just walking through the crowd like, this is my favorite drink. I don't know if you guys drink this at all. Does anybody? Nobody does this? I'm surprised. And I walked outside and threw it away and tried again at a different Starbucks. All right. Thank you, God. I can't thank you enough. You are unbelievable. I'm gonna let this one go by. I mean, like, you know, the hard part is I see them coming before y'all, and I mean, I just see a blinking, like, 5 miles away going, that one looks like it's coming. In my head, I'm just like, I think it's, you know. A couple times I've looked and it was just stars. I like look up and I'll be like, that one's not moving that quick. I feel like we're sitting on top of it. You're like, that's the main change, so I just deal with it. And it gets brought up. Once I was checking a bag, and the guy by the counter, he sees my ticket says Nathan, the license says Nathaniel. He was like, this is not good. He goes, these names don't match. And I was like, but they match, right? Like, you can see the leap that we took to get from one to the other. He was like, but they're not the same. I was like, but they're the same. And I'm realizing he cannot find out people call me Nate at that point because, I mean, he can't handle that. He's gonna call the police over to be like, there's a guy with 3 names trying to fly right here. If you guys want to just shoot him from over there or something. So I was like, what do you want me to do? He goes, you should go home. That's all I got. He's like, I can't believe you've made it this far. I was like, let me just try it, you know? Shouldn't I try it? I said, look, I'll give you that those names don't match. But what I think is gonna help a ton is the picture on the ID. Something that I've always loved that they did. And I think with 70% of that name matching and 100% face, 170%, I think I'll get through it. And this is what he told me. This is honestly what he said. He goes, look, man, I get it, all right? He's trying to relate to me. And he was like, my name's Joseph. That's what's on my license. So I can't buy a ticket under my nickname Bart. They're not gonna let me through. He said it like, right? Like, do you know what, does that make sense? And I was like, that doesn't at all. Those are 2 different names, all right? You should be over there and you should be over here because that's how you're treating me. Like I'm a Joseph Bart. Thank you. It was unbelievable. I mean, all right, I don't know. I've done comedy for a while. I've done a lot of different shows. They're not, they're not as all exciting as the Tonight Show. I did one in a prison once, like in it, like all the way in it. Like we went to them. Like I didn't like meet them out, you know. So we go in. Let's say you guys are the inmates. So I'm sitting here, I'm like doing my dumb jokes. None of it works. Every joke I have involves being outside in the past 30 years. Like, I'm like, traffic's crazy. You guys remember, people remember traffic here, right? So I'm doing my dumb jokes, and then an inmate gets up and starts walking towards me. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. You know, like he's gonna use me to break out. And I don't want to point at him, but no one's like looking, but I am using hand gestures. And like, what do you guys do on this side of the room? Should he be walking up like that? Turns out the bathrooms are behind me. He's a good guy. I judged him on what he was wearing and where we were at. It was my fault. So I'm like against a brick wall. And it's like goes like halfway up, and then the urinals are like all behind here. So then he comes to use the bathroom, and then he comes to the urinal right behind me. So then it's just me and him just looking at everybody, and he peed. He peed without even it was the most confidence I've ever seen in my entire life. I thought, whatever you think this guy did it, all right? That's not, an innocent man doesn't pee like that. That's a guilty, I'm not getting out.